Morning guys. Today I'm going to change the fuel filters on my fuel system here. I'm not sure how old the filters are in there, so I'm just going to change them all out so I know the status of the whole system. This filter screws into my fuel pump, which is underneath the car, and then after that I have a fuel inline fuel filter, and then in the carburetor I have an older 2-barrel carburetor, has a bronze filter, and we'll change that one out also. Alright, the fuel filter sits inside here, just behind this nut here, or bolt that screws into the carburetor. So we'll pull the fuel lines off. Okay, then we'll unscrew this fitting off of here, and looks like it's all coming off together. And there's this filter in here. It has a spring on it to seal, so we'll pull this off. And yeah, so I don't know if you can see here, this was put in backwards. The spring is on the wrong side, and there's no gasket, which doesn't matter anyways because they put it in wrong. So the spring should sit on the back side of the filter and push against the inlet here. So it should go in this way. Spring first, pressing against the back here, and then there'll be a seat on here also, which that's missing also. So we'll put the new one in and correctly, and we'll see how that operates. So the new filter here looks cleaner, but just it's not gas saturated yet, so you can't tell how dirty this one is. But like I said, I just want to know that my system is all clean and freshened up. So you have a gasket here and the filter and spring. So the spring is going to go in first. And then you'll insert your gasket. There's another seat right here also on this nut. Okay, so make sure that gasket seats in there correctly, and then this cone inside the filter is going to point towards the inlet, so the gas is flowing in this way. And then don't forget I got my spring in there, and your seat in here, and tighten this to get it seated in there correctly. Goes. And that's it. Crank her down. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, this is my fuel pump. It sits underneath the, just under the frame, underneath the driver's seat. So we're going to replace this filter in here. Disconnect the fuel line. I think I'm empty on fuel here, but I have a bucket ready to catch the fuel. Nothing coming out. Great. I have the car jacked up, so the tank is down low below me. There you go. And here's my fuel filter. Okay, here's my new filter that we'll replace, and normally fuel goes in this way for this type of filter here. And this one's on the carb. Some carburetors have this style also. Okay. Remember, when you're threading anything, make sure you do it by hand. You do not want to cross thread anything here. And we'll tighten that one down. Okay, don't forget to tighten the hose clamp. And again, the reason I'm changing this is I don't know the age of these filters. Alright, that one's installed. And now let's move on to the inline filter, which is, so this is coming from the tank, filter, fuel pump, and then the inline filter, and we'll replace that one next. I'm not going to replace the inline filter, but as you can see, it's just sitting in here through the frame, on the frame rails here, and I'm going to remove it from there, and I'll mount it, but you'll see the fuel line, how it goes through the tube, the air, and then up and over the frame again, and then back on to the frame rail here. So I'm going to mount it inside the rail right here, and on this hole here I will mount the filter. So let's pull that one out. I already disconnected it. Top there. Alright, I added the inline fuel filter, and then I also added in a second check valve in there. Maybe an overkill because the fuel pump here has a check valve in it, but I park in a slanted driveway, so I just wanted to make sure that no fuel was leaking back to the tank. I also flushed out my fuel tank, and I dropped the tank, cleaned it out. It was pretty clean on the inside, but I just want to make sure that was clean so I knew that was in good order. Now my fuel system from the fuel tank to the carburetor, I know is all clean and fresh. Okay, after replacing the inline filter, I cut some of the hose out because they had some loops in it, and I took that out. And then this one here, it had a couple clamps on it. You could tell it just pinched it tight. And then I changed another hose on here, or I couldn't tell what was in there until I cut it out. And there's like a wire connector. I don't know if you guys can see that. Wire connector was stuffed inside there. So that's part of the problem, me not getting fuel to the engine. So anyways, I got new hose on and new filters, and we'll see how that starts and runs from here. Alright, I got it all together here, and I primed the fuel pump already in the system, and my fuel pump is a lot quieter now, the way it should sound. So I'll turn it on here, hopefully you guys can hear it, and we'll start it up. Looks like everything went as planned. Not always, but this time it did. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.